What about the life you promised to yourself? There comes a moment in life when the noise around you becomes deafening. The opinions, the distractions, the doubts, they pull at you from every direction. And in that storm, there's a question that echoes louder than all the rest. What about the life you promised to yourself? Not the life others wanted for you. Not the life you settled for. The one you dreamed of when no one was watching, the life you said you'd fight for. Every excuse you've ever made, every reason you've ever given, doesn't erase that promise. Promises aren't meant to fade with time, they're meant to be honored with action. That version of you, the one you envisioned standing tall, proud, relentless, is still waiting. But waiting doesn't win championships. Waiting doesn't build legacies. Action does. You told yourself you'd rise. You told yourself you'd be different. Yet every time you let fear win, you step further away from that vision. So I ask you again, what about that life? Are you going to keep betraying your own word, or are you going to honor it like the contract it is? The world won't hand you that life. It won't apologize for making it hard. But greatness doesn't bloom in comfort. It grows in resistance. And if you truly want it, then it's time to move like someone who refuses to quit on themselves. Time to demand more, give more, become more. Own your promise. No one else will. You made a promise once. Not to your friends, not to your family, to yourself. That promise wasn't made for applause. It wasn't made for approval. It was made in the quiet, in the dark, in the moments when nobody else cared. That promise is yours, and only you are responsible for keeping it alive. There is no crowd coming to remind you. There is no coach waking you up at 5 a.m. and saying you still owe yourself something. That's on you. The mirror doesn't lie, and every time you look at it, it's either your biggest ally or your harshest critic. People will forget the promises you make to them, but the one you make to yourself will haunt you if you don't chase it. Because that promise represents your standard, your belief, your potential, and the longer you ignore it, the heavier it becomes on your shoulders. Nobody is coming to live your dream for you. Nobody is going to suffer the consequences if you don't do it. That's the truth. The world moves on, and you're either moving with it or you're standing still while your promise collects dust. You owe it to yourself to revisit that vision. That version of you that didn't care about the obstacles, that believed in the impossible, that wanted more. That person was real and still is, but they need you to wake up and start fighting again. Your promise isn't a suggestion. It's a contract, one written in your heart, signed in your own ambition. And contracts have terms. Either you fulfill them, or you live in breach every single day. The world rewards those who remember why they started. When the noise gets loud, when the pressure builds, when the critics speak, the only thing that matters is the agreement you made within yourself. That's the foundation. You can't build a legacy on forgotten promises. You can't inspire anyone by betraying your own word. Start with you. Be the person you said you'd be. Live up to your own standards before demanding anything from anyone else. The life you promised yourself isn't supposed to be easy. That's why it was a promise, because it required commitment. If it were effortless, you wouldn't need to promise it. You'd already have it. So ask yourself, are you proud of how you've treated your word? Are you honoring that inner contract? Or have you been negotiating with your own weakness, giving yourself discounts on your own dreams? Every day you break that promise, you train your mind to accept mediocrity, and once mediocrity feels normal, greatness feels impossible. That's the danger. That's the silent failure that kills potential. Start small if you have to, but start. Reinforce your word with action. Make that promise sacred again. Treat it like the foundation of everything you are, because it is. People can take a lot from you: opportunities, money, even your time. But they can't take the integrity you build when you keep your word to yourself. That's something nobody can steal. Only you can surrender. The life you want begins the moment you decide to honor that promise again. And until you do, everything else will feel half-finished, half-hearted, and half. Lived discipline is louder than motivation. Motivation comes and goes like the wind. It feels good in the moment. It sparks you for a day, a week, maybe even a month, but it's not permanent. Discipline is. Discipline shows up when motivation sleeps, and the difference between the life you want and the life you settle for isn't inspiration, it's consistency under pressure. It's doing what needs to be done when every part of you wants to walk away. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is a decision. One fades with your mood, the other endures through every storm. The people who win, the ones who rise, they don't chase feelings, they enforce standards. When you wake up tired, discipline says, we move. When the results are slow, discipline says, we keep going. When the world doubts you, discipline says, prove them wrong with action. That's the voice you build when you train yourself to show up regardless. You don't need to feel like it, you need to do it. Feelings are unpredictable. They lie, they delay you. Discipline cuts through that noise with clarity. The work must be done. The life you promised to yourself doesn't care about your mood. It cares about your effort. It cares about the days you did it anyway. That's what creates separation, not who had the loudest dream, but who had the strongest routine. Motivation is a guest. Discipline is a resident. It builds a home in your mind and says, this is how we live now. That's when change begins to compound, when results become inevitable. You want to know why people quit. Because they wait to feel ready. They wait to feel inspired. Winners know better. They move before the feeling comes, and the feeling catches up later. Discipline is the bridge between your promise and your reality. Without it, you'll keep dreaming. With it, you start building. Every time you break a routine, you teach yourself to start over. Every time you keep one, even when it hurts, you teach yourself to finish. That's how trust is built internally. Stop asking for the perfect moment, the perfect mindset, the perfect condition. Start acting like someone who understands that showing up is more powerful than showing off. You want to change your life. Stop negotiating with your comfort. Stop looking for reasons to delay. Build a routine that forces progress, even when your emotions resist. Discipline feels lonely because it's rare. Most people would rather stay in the loop of starting and stopping. You made a promise. That means you don't get that luxury anymore. One day, the results will come. And they won't come because you were motivated every day. They'll come because you were consistent when nobody else was. Your excuses are the walls you built. Excuses feel like protection, but they're really a prison. Every I can't becomes a brick. Every not today becomes another wall. Over time, you look around and realize you're trapped, and you built it. Excuses don't solve problems. They decorate failure. They give it nice words, soft reasons, gentle exits. But the outcome stays the same. Nothing changes, and you stay where you are. The life you promised yourself is waiting on the other side of those walls. But as long as you keep laying bricks made of doubt, fear, and delay, you're the one standing in your own way. Nobody forced you to stop. Nobody forced you to settle. Excuses are self-made chains, and only you have the key to break them. Think about it. How many opportunities passed you because of an excuse? How many doors closed because you convinced yourself you weren't ready? You didn't have time. You didn't have resources. Excuses multiply when you feed them. You justify them once, they come back stronger. They learn your patterns. They become your language. Before long, you stop even trying to push through the dangerous part. Excuses are comforting. They let you sleep at night with unfinished work. They make you feel like you had a reason to stop, but comfort is the enemy of growth. The people who get ahead aren't the ones with the easiest path. They're the ones who stopped explaining their lack of effort and started executing despite it. You want freedom? Tear down your own walls. Stop telling stories about why it's hard. Start writing actions that make it possible. Excuses don't care about your potential. They care about your surrender. They grow when you give them space. Shrink them by starving them, by showing up anyway. Nobody will remember the reasons you gave. They'll remember the results you delivered. Excuses fade. Results echo. Every time you make an excuse, you delay the person you could become. Every time you act instead, you move closer to the life you promised. There's no pride in almost. There's no glory in nearly. Excuses only matter to the people who want to feel safe, not to the ones who want to feel alive. Tear down the wall. It won't fall in a day, but it will fall if you swing at it every day. The life you want is on the other side, waiting for you to stop explaining and start executing. Consistency is the real talent. People talk about talent like it's magic, like some are born with it and some aren't. But talent means nothing without consistency. Consistency is the engine that turns skill into dominance. You can have the best plan, the best vision, the best resources, but if you don't show up day after day, it all dies in the realm of potential. Potential is nothing without proof, and proof comes from repetition. Consistency doesn't care how good you are once. It cares how many times you do it until it becomes who you are. The greats aren't remembered for one shining moment. They're remembered for always showing up, always producing, always being there. When you're consistent, you stop chasing motivation. You stop hoping for results. You start creating momentum, and momentum is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary forces. The reason so many people quit is because they expect speed. They want instant reward. But consistency doesn't reward impatience, it rewards patience backed by effort. Think about the promises you've made to yourself. How many of them died because you didn't keep showing up? How many times did you start strong and fade when the applause stopped? Consistency is the discipline to keep moving without the noise, to train in silence, to grow in shadows, to deliver when nobody's watching. It's not glamorous at first. It's boring, it's repetitive, but it's the repetition that builds the foundation for greatness. Every day you show up, you stack another brick, and one day that wall of effort becomes unshakable. Stop asking, how long will it take? And start saying, as long as it takes. That's the language of someone who understands what they owe themselves. Your talent will get attention. Your consistency will earn respect. There's a difference between being noticed and being unstoppable, and that difference is showing up long after the mood is gone. You can't cheat consistency. You can't fake it. Either it's there in your habits or it's not. And the results will expose you if you want the life you promised yourself. Stop being amazing once in a while and start being reliable every single day. That's what changes everything. People will doubt your consistency until your results make them quiet. And then they'll call you lucky, but you'll know it wasn't luck. It was the days you refused to skip, the hours you refused to waste. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about being in the game so often that the game becomes yours. Pain is temporary. Regret is permanent. Pain is a visitor. It comes, it hurts, it tests you, but it leaves. Regret is a tenant. Once it moves in, it doesn't leave easily, and the rent it charges is your peace. The workouts hurt. The sacrifices sting. The lonely nights weigh on you, but all of that is temporary. The ache of discipline fades. The pride of results lasts. Regret, on the other hand, whispers every day. It reminds you of what you didn't do, what you didn't chase, what you let slip away because it was uncomfortable in the moment. The life you promised to yourself isn't built on comfort, it's built on choices. Hard ones, painful ones, the kind that demand you push past what's easy. You will never remember every moment of pain, but you will remember the ones where you quit. Those memories stick. They follow you. They ask you years later, why didn't you hold on? Pain is proof you're alive. Regret is proof you didn't act when you could have. One sharpens you. The other dulls your entire spirit. Stop running from pain. Start understanding it. Pain is the price of progress. It's the down payment on the future you said you wanted. Every champion has scars. Every winner has moments they thought they couldn't take it anymore, but they did. And now their pain has become pride. The pain you feel today becomes the strength you carry tomorrow. But the regret you let in today becomes the weakness you carry for years. You can choose temporary discomfort or permanent disappointment. One hurts now, the other hurts forever. Choose wisely. There's no path to your promise that won't ask you to endure. The question is, do you want to hurt now and heal as a legend, or avoid the pain and live as a shadow of what you could have been? Stop looking for the easy route. It doesn't exist if your dreams are real. Choose the path with pain because that pain is shaping you, hardening you, preparing you. Pain demands respect. It shows you what you're made of. Regret demands surrender. It shows you what you gave up on. Every time you face pain and keep going, you weaken regret's power. Every time you quit, you feed it. Choose pain because it passes. Regret doesn't surround yourself with relentless energy. You are a reflection of your environment. No matter how strong your vision is, the people around you either fuel it or drain it. Choose your circle like your future depends on it, because it does. Mediocre people hate accountability. They hate effort. They hate your discipline because it exposes their excuses. That's why they'll joke about your grind, question your sacrifice, and tell you to relax. A relentless energy is rare. It's the kind of mindset that doesn't make excuses, that doesn't flinch at pressure, that sees opportunity where others see limits. If you surround yourself with that energy, you rise faster. If you surround yourself with people who complain, who quit, who envy, you slow down sometimes without even realizing it. Your promise deserves protection. It deserves an environment that matches its ambition. Stop planting your seeds in dead soil. The people around you don't have to be perfect, but they need to be aligned. They need to push you, challenge you, inspire you to go further. Every conversation is either lifting you or lowering you. Every relationship is either fuel or friction. Choose fuel. Stop expecting loyalty from people who are comfortable watching you lose. Stop sharing your dreams with people who have already quit on theirs. You need voices around you that remind you what's possible, not what's safe. You need energy that feeds your fire, not your fear. Relentless people won't always tell you what you want to hear. They'll tell you the truth. They'll push you when you want to rest. They'll demand more because they see what you're capable of. If you can't find that energy, become it. Be the standard in the room. Lead by example until others rise or leave. The life you promised yourself won't survive in a toxic circle. It will suffocate. It will shrink. Protect it with boundaries, with standards, with distance when necessary. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the work, it's the goodbye. Letting go of people who hold you back is part of growth. It's not cruelty. It's clarity. Surround yourself with relentless energy and watch how much faster your promise becomes your reality. Sacrifice today to live tomorrow. Everyone wants the reward, but few want the cost. Sacrifice is the currency of every dream. You pay now so you can own tomorrow. You can't keep everything and still become everything. Something has to go: comfort, distractions, old habits. Wasted time. Sacrifice isn't loss, it's investment. Every hour you trade now is a seed planted in the soil of your future. But most people want harvest without planting. Trophies without training. Your promise demands payment upfront. It demands you show faith in the process before the world shows faith in you. Sacrifice is lonely because most people want ease now. They can't see what you see. They laugh at your discipline until it turns into results. They can't ignore the parties you skip, the sleep you lose, the risks you take. They add up, not in the moment, but over time. Sacrifice compounds like interest, and one day it pays you back with freedom. The life you promised yourself is on the other side of things you don't want to give up. Comfort is the price of transformation. You can't cheat this. You can't have both. You either sacrifice now and enjoy later, or you enjoy now and sacrifice later. But the bill always comes due. People will tell you you're missing out. They won't say that years later, when you're living what they still dream about. Sacrifice now, shine later. Sacrifice sharpens your vision. It forces you to ask, what really matters? What deserves my energy? What's just noise? The truth: sacrifice isn't about suffering for no reason. It's about choosing the right pain to create the right gain. Every legend has a list of things they gave up, not because they hated them, because they wanted something greater. More sacrifice today. You'll thank yourself tomorrow. And the people who doubted you will wonder how you did it, but you'll know exactly how. You paid the price when they wouldn't never leave the court until you've given your all. The court is a metaphor for your work, your craft, your life. Whatever stage you step on, don't walk off knowing you had more to give. The life you promised yourself won't be built on half effort. It demands all of you. It demands you leave sweat, time, and pride behind until the job is done. Most people quit when they're tired. Winners quit when they're finished. There's a difference. Your standard can't be good enough. It has to be everything I had. Because if you hold back, you rob yourself twice: once now, and again later, when the regret hits. Every day is a court. Every opportunity is a game. And you decide, will you walk off empty, or will you walk off haunted? Don't confuse effort with attempts. Attempts are occasional. Effort is total. It's every rep, every second, every ounce of focus you've got. Leaving the court with energy left is a betrayal of your own standard. It says, I could have done more, but I didn't feel like it. That's not how you build a legacy. The people who look unstoppable aren't superhuman. They're just unwilling to leave potential unused. When you go all in, you sleep better. You recover faster. You move forward without the weight of what if. You don't get more time. You don't get reruns. Every opportunity you have, commit to, is one you'll never get back in the same way again. Give everything, not because it's easy, but because you said you would. Because your promise isn't about comfort. It's about completion most of the time. The difference between winning and losing isn't talent. It's who refuse to stop 1 rep too soon, 1 hour too early, 1 season too discouraged. Empty the tank. Every time, not for applause, for pride. For the version of you that expects more. One day, the court will close for the last time. When it does, make sure you can look back and say, I left everything there. Look back at the promises you've made. Not the ones written in contracts, not the ones spoken to impress others. The ones you whispered to yourself when nobody else was listening. Those were sacred, those were real, and those are the ones that matter. This life isn't about what you once said you'd do. It's about what you choose to do now, because every day you delay, that promise fades. Every day you hesitate, the distance grows. And every day you move with purpose, it comes closer. The life you promised yourself was never going to knock on your door. It was always waiting on the other side of sacrifice, discipline, pain, and relentless action. It doesn't belong to the loudest voice. It belongs to the one who kept showing up. You don't get another first chance. You don't get another beginning, but you do get today. And today can be the day you stop breaking your own word. Today can be the day you realign with the person you said you'd become. Stop negotiating with comfort. Stop making friends with your excuses. Start treating your promise like oxygen. Without it, you can't truly live. One day the clock will stop. The noise will fade, and you'll stand alone with only one question echoing, did I honor the life I said I would live? Make sure the answer is yes. Make sure your story isn't written in almosts and excuses, but in effort and execution. Because that's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the wishers from the winners. So stand up. Start moving, start building. The life you promised yourself is still waiting, but it won't wait forever.